Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you are having a good day. The subject that I'm doing today is on friendship and what the Bible has to say about it. And actually, the Bible has a lot to say about it, so I'm obviously not going to be able to do everything, but I will just talk about friendship in general. I think that loneliness, especially in today's times, is a real issue. I think that sometimes my husband and I joke that we wish the internet would have never been made. Even though the internet is great for searching a lot of, medical information, just getting, information at the tip of your hands, I really think it has isolated people. I think that especially the young people are been really isolated or self-isolating, and they actually a lot of times don't even know how to mingle and have one-on-one relationships with people, and it's really affecting our society, and not only ours but really all around the world who have a lot of internet access. So I wanted to talk about friendship and how we really should cultivate it. I think it's good to have at least one good friend, and your family members can be your friend also. And to get out, one of my New Year's resolutions this upcoming year is going to be having more time spent with our family, who I consider my friends also. I've been a stay-at-home mom for years, and of course my kids are gone, and so I don't even get out as much as I like to, but I do like getting out when I do, and mingling with our friends and going to lunch with them, having family events, and it always reminds me what is missing when when we don't do that, especially during the COVID and the coronavirus. So basically, I'm going to start off with some scriptures about what the Bible has to say about friendship. And it says, the first one is Proverbs 20, verse 6. And it says, many will say that they are loyal friends, but who can find one who is really faithful? And I think that has always been, a lifelong issue, is finding a friend that really sticks with you, that's a really faithful friend. And through thick and thin, through arguments, fights, whatever, and that is a good friend. And also, a definition of a faithful friend. And one of the most famous friendships in the Bible actually was David and Jonathan. Jonathan was Saul's son, and he should have actually been an heir to the throne, but he had rather have David because God had chosen David. And so that really showed a lot about Jonathan, because in those times, boy, they would kill off family members in a minute to have the throne. That just was filling the Bible. And Jonathan really took a back seat and honored what the Lord's wishes were, which was for David, his best friend, to be the king. And the scripture is 1 Samuel 18, 1 through 4. And it says, after David had finished talking with Saul, he met Jonathan, the king's son. There was an immediate bond of love between them, and they became best of friends. And Jonathan made a special vow to be David's friend. And he sealed the pact by giving him his robe, tunic, sword, bow, and belt. And they had a lifelong friendship. And David stuck to his promises to Jonathan after Jonathan was killed, and he brought his crippled son into his own castle or home and provided him for all the days of his life. And so another couple verses, Proverbs has a lot to say about friendship, so I'm going to read some out of Proverbs. So Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in time of need. So a good friend is not only faithful, but they're loyal to you. So if someone is talking trash about you or disparaging your name, a true friend will be loyal and back you up, and really stand their ground against criticism against you. So if you have a loyal friend, you can tell by those characteristics. And then it says Proverbs 18:24. There are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. And, I've heard this also, many times about friends. My kids have had friends who were considered friends, and then they ended up not being true friends. So over time, true friendship really is shown by your actions and length of time. And then it says, as iron sharpens iron, a friend sharpens a friend, because true friends will, tell you the truth. They will tell you if there's an issue. They will, correct you in a kind and loving way, but they will be a good friend and not lie to you. They may hurt your feelings, but they really need to consider, if they're a true friend, what they're saying and whether it's truthful, because that's like iron sharpening iron, and you should be able to do the same. And then in Proverbs 18:19 it says, it's harder to make amends with an offended friend than to capture a fortified city. Arguments separate friends like a gate with locked iron bars. And so it's always good to make up as quickly as possible if you have a disagreement with a friend, and also overlook an offense. Obviously, we don't need to always bring out every negative thing about a friend, because we're all human. We all sin. We all have negative qualities to us and positive. So it's always good to overlook an offense. Now, if the person is really doing something that is very detrimental to your relationship or in their own lives or to their health, and it's always good to speak out about that, because that would be being a good friend. And then another verse is Proverbs 12:26. The godly give good advice to their friends, and the wicked lead them astray. And that is a really important quality. I always taught my kids that bad company corrupts good character. If you have wicked friends and they're leading you into sin or in trouble, they are not a good friend. I don't care how close they stick to you. They're not a good friend if they're leading you down a path that would be other than God's, will for you. So a good friend, a godly friend, gives good biblical advice, okay? And then here's a few about Christ and his example as a friend. It says, I command you to love each other in the same way that I love you. And here is how to measure it. The greatest love is shown when people lay down their lives for their friends. You are my friends if you obey me. I no longer call you servants, because a master doesn't confide in his servants. Now you are my friends, since I have told you everything the Father told me. So these are Jesus' words, and his definition is a true friend will even lay down for his life for his brother, which is exactly what Jesus Christ did for us. So he is a true friend. And also, he doesn't treat us like servants. We are considered his friends or brethren also. And we are made children of God to the Father. And another one is 1 John 3:16. We know what real love is because Christ gave up his life for us. And we also ought to give up our lives for our Christian friends. In America, we don't really think about this. We think we can't really imagine it. But I actually read a lot of material from foreign countries about Christians. And those people do it. They give up their lives for their family, for their churches, and their friends. And they're an exemplary, example of what Jesus just got done saying. And hopefully, if anything ever comes to the time that we have to do that, that we would all be strong enough to do that for, a godly friend, maybe protecting them or something like that. And then going on, it says, think of ways to encourage one another to outbursts of love and good deeds. And let us not neglect meeting together as some people do, but encourage and warn each other, especially now that the day of his coming back is again drawing near. So this was in Hebrews 10:24 through 25. So we should encourage our friends, our family, with outbursts of love, a kind action, listening to them, being there for them in good times and bad times, encouraging them to do good things, not wicked things, not neglecting meeting others. And this is also talked about meeting together in church, warning one another so we're not falling into sin, especially now that the day is drawing near for Jesus Christ. All right. And the last one that I'll read is from James 2:14-17, and it says, "Dear brothers and sisters, what's the use of saying you have faith if you don't prove it by your actions? That kind of faith can't save anyone. Suppose you see a brother or sister who needs food or clothing, and you say, 'Well, goodbye, and God bless you, stay warm and eat well,' but then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do?" So you see, it isn't enough just to have faith. Faith that doesn't show itself by good deeds is no faith at all. It is dead and useless. So this is the book of James talking about true faith manifests itself in good works, in helping others, giving to others, sacrificing for others, not putting ourselves always first. And so look for ways that you can be a good friend and do these types of things for your friends. It will enrich your, family members. It will enrich yourself. It will enrich your friends and relationships in general. And that makes them want to be, even a better friend to you. And also examine your relationships and see, do I have any friends that are leading me down the wrong path? And if you do, then I would encourage you to reconsider those relationships, because God should be first and foremost rather than what a friend wants you to do. And pray for God to bring friends in your life if you are lonely, and seek to be with your family members and, overcome differences, because time is short and you never know when someone could pass, and you don't want to regret that. I hope that everyone has a great day, and God bless.